Moving on to other stories, the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation has laid the 2020 budget before the lawmakers after the conclusion of the budget defense process. And the report shows an increase from 10.33 trillion naira submitted by President Muhammadu Buhari to 10.6 trillion naira. So let's get some more details on the 2020 budget proposals and the issues raised. We have joining us on the program Honorable Igariwe Enwo. He is the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Appropriations. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. So I'd like to get some clarification on, you're welcome, on this increase that's been reported in the news. Is this indeed true, from 10.33 trillion naira to about 10.6 trillion naira? And what is this increase for?
Yeah, it is true that the budget was increased from the estimates Mr. President presented to the National Assembly on the 8th of October. The increase became necessary because of, the economy is dynamic. Fresh economic projections, financial projections that came up made it necessary for the two arms of the Committee on Appropriations of the National Assembly, in conjunction with the executive arm, to look at certain areas that Mr. President didn't advert, or the executive didn't advert their minds in the projections they brought. There were areas which are very critical to the main thrust of the economy that were not taken care of. Areas such as areas in health, concerning health, concerning works and housing, concerning education. There are about 14 areas where it became necessary to make fresh financial appropriations to. So in conjunction with the executive arm, working together with them, the Appropriation Committee found it very necessary, very expedient to ensure that the main aim of the budget, which is to promote growth and sustainable development, is achieved. So it's actually true that the budget was increased to, if I'm going to be very specific, from the total executive submission was 10,330,406,607,347. But it became necessary to make a further increase of about 263 billion 945,757,483. To bring a total legislative approval of 10,594,362,364 and 830 naira. Like I said earlier, these increases became necessary to make further allocations to works and housing ministry.
That is taken.
Yes.
That is taken. Just before we get lost in the figures, yes, I'd like to ask you, before we let you go, is the National Assembly still on track to, passing the appropriation bill today?
Yes. Yes. Yesterday we laid the budget, which is the first process. Today what we are doing is to consider the budget. But that's the last stage before we approve the budget. So yesterday we laid the budget. Today is consideration of the budget. And at the end of today, it becomes a bill.
All right. I would like to thank you so much, Honorable Igariwe Enwo. He is the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Appropriations. We'll keep our eyes on the appropriation bill. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.